sit back and enjoy a Christmas carol.
Is it Christmas yet?
No, not yet, but soon.
But it feels so far away.
It always does, I'm afraid. How about we do something to pass the time? How about a story?
Would you tell us a special one? A Christmas one?
Yes, I can. I believe I know just the one.
Oh, goody! Where is the book? I'll go get it for you.
That would be nice, but there's no need. This one isn't in a book. I know this one by heart.
You do?
Indeed I do. Indeed I do. Now, where shall I start? Marley was dead. There was no doubt that Marley was dead. The register of his burial was signed by the clerk, the clergyman, the undertaker, and the chief mourner.
Marley was dead as a doornail. There was no doubt that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood for anything wonderful to come of the story I'm about to relay.
Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. Scrooge and he were partners for many years. Scrooge was his sole friend, his sole executor, and his sole mourner.
But not even Scrooge was so dreadfully cut up by the sad event.
Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood years afterwards above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley.
Sometimes people new to the business called Scrooge and others Marley. But he answered to both names. It was all the same to him.
Oh, but Scrooge is a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner.
No warmth could warm him, no wintry weather chill him. No wind that blew was bitterer than he. No falling snow was more intent upon its purpose, and no pelting rain less open to entreaty.
Foul weather didn't know where to happen. Nobody ever stopped him in the streets to say with happy looks, "My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come to see me?"
Truth is, man nor beast dared attempt social intercourse at all with him. What did Scrooge care? To edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance, was his chosen way.
One afternoon, on Christmas Eve, Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, with his door open so he may keep his eye on his clerk, who, in a dismal cell beyond, was busy copying letters. Scrooge had a small fire, but the clerk's fire was so very much smaller, it looked to be one coal. He couldn't replenish his fire, however, for Scrooge kept the coal box in his office. So his clerk was forced to put on his comforter and warm himself at the candle.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah humbug.
Christmas? A humbug, Uncle. Surely you don't mean that.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, what right do you have to be dismal? You're rich enough?
Bah humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be in a world of fools such as this? Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older, but not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes around with a Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle, surely you cannot mean that.
Nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you. Much good has it ever done you.
There are many things in this world which I've derived good from which I've not profited from, I dare say. But I've always thought of Christmas as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the year where men and women seem to, by one consent, open up their shut-up hearts freely and think of those below them as just fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creatures bound on different journeys. So although it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I say it has done me good and will continue to do me good, and I say God bless it.
Bravo, sir. Well said. Let me hear another sound out of you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
No.
But why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Good afternoon.
No, Uncle. You never came to see me before that happened. Why give it as a reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends? It's Christmas.
Good afternoon.
I am sorry with all of my heart to find you so resolute, but I have made my trial in homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Bah humbug.
Dearest Cratchit, I bid you and your family a wonderful and Merry Christmas.
The same to you, sir. Merry Christmas.
There's another fellow, my clerk, with 15 shillings a week and a wife and a family, talking about Merry Christmas.
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night.
Well, we have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
At this festive season of year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we make some slight provision to the poor and destitute, who suffer greatly at the present time.
Many are in want of common necessaries. Many are in want of common comforts, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. I wish I could say that they were not.
The treadmill and poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
I'm very glad to hear it.
Well, under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitude, a few of us are endeavoring to raise fund to buy the poor meat and drink, and means of warmth, sir.
We choose this time because it is a time of all times where want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. I don't make myself merry at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments I have mentioned. Those who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
If they'd rather die, then they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
But you cannot mean that, sir.
It is not my business. It is not enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Well, Merry Christmas, sir.
Bah humbug.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, and nothing in despair.
7 o'clock then. You'll want the whole day tomorrow, I suppose.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient and it's not fair. If I were to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself
Sir-
ill-used, and yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
Surely, sir. It's only once a year. I mean, once a year.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. But be here all the earlier next morning.
Oh, thank you, sir. My family and I wish you the merriest Christmas. Good evening, sir.
Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive the King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Cratchit gone, Scrooge walked out with a growl. The office closed in a twinkling.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner as usual, and having read the newspaper and the banker's book, went home to bed.
He lived in chambers which once belonged to his deceased partner.
The fog and frost so hung upon the old black gateway of the house, it seemed as if the genius of weather sat in mournful meditation upon the threshold.
Marley's face. It was not as the other objects in the yard, but had a dismal light about it. It was not angry or ferocious, looked at Scrooge as Marley used to look.
Its livid color made it horrible, but the horror seemed to be in spite of the face and beyond its control, rather than part of its own expression.
As Scrooge looked fixedly at this phenomenon, it was a knocker again. To say that he was not startled would be untrue, but he put his hand upon the key that he had relinquished, turned it sturdily, walked in, and lighted his candle.
He did pause with a moment's resolution before he shut the door, and he did look cautiously behind it first, but there was nothing on the back of the door. So he said,
Humbug!
and closed it, fastened it, and went up the stairs.
Up Scrooge went, not caring a button that it was dark. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. But before he shut his heavy door, he walked through his room to see that all was right. He had just enough recollection of the face to desire to do that.
Quite satisfied, Scrooge locked his door, double locked it, which was not his custom. Thus secured against surprise, Scrooge put on his cravat, his nightgown, and dressing slippers, and sat by the fire to take his evening gruel.
It's humbug still. I won't believe it. How now? What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Can you sit down?
I can.
Do it then.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence of my reality would you have beyond that of your senses?
I don't know.
Then why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You could be a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of underdone potato. There's more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Mercy! Dreadful apparition. Why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must, but why do spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world, oh woe is me, and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared and turned to happiness.
You are fettered. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and the length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was as full, as heavy, and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago, and you have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
Oh, Jacob, old Jacob, tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give, nor can I tell you what I would. A very little more is permitted to me. I cannot rest. I cannot say, I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. Mark me, in life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our many changing hole, and weary journeys lie before me.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. At this time of the year, I suffer most. Why did I walk through crowds of fellow beings with my eyes turned down? Were there no poor homes to which light could have conducted me? Hear me, my time is nearly gone.
I will, but don't be hard upon me. Don't be flowery, Jacob, pray.
I am here tonight to warn you. You have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate, a chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer. You'll be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is this the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first when the bell tolls 1, second on the stroke of 2, the third when the clock rings 3.
Couldn't I just take them all at once and get them over with? Humbug. The hour itself and nothing else. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past.
No, your past.
Well, what brings you here?
Your welfare.
Thank you, but I think I'd rather sleep.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed. Rise and come with me.
I'm immortal and liable to fall.
Bear a touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
Good heaven. I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
Your lip is trembling. And what is that upon your cheek?
Nothing.
You recollect the way?
Remember it. I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years.
Tommy! Mr. Bridges! The Harrington farm! Hey! Hey! Can they...
These are but shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us.
My old school. School is out?
The school is not quite yet deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his family and friends, remains.
Why? It's Ali Baba. Dear old honest Ali Baba. Yes, yes, I know. One Christmas time when yonder solitary child was left all alone, he did come. For the first time, just like that. Poor boy. And Valentine and his wild brother Orson, there they go. Poor boy. I wish. But it's too late now.
What is the matter?
Nothing. There were just some children singing a Christmas carol outside my door last night. I should have liked to give them something, that is all.
Let us see another Christmas.
Dear brother, I've come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home, home, home. Yes, home forever and ever. Father's so much kinder than he used to be that home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said, yes, you should. And he sent me in a coach to bring you. And you're to be a man and are never to come back here. But first, we're to be together all the Christmas long and have the merriest time in all the world.
You look quite a woman, little man.
Such a delicate creature, whom a breath may have withered, but she had a large heart.
So she had.
She died a woman, and I believe had children.
One child.
True. Your nephew.
Yes.
Let us move on. Do you remember this place?
Know it. I was apprenticed here. Why, it's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart, Fezziwig alive again.
Yo there, Ebenezer, Rich!
Rich Wilkins, to be sure. He was very attached to me, he was.
No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Rich. Christmas Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can say Jack Robinson. Hilly-o! Clear away, my lads. Let's have lots of room here. Hilly-o! Wonderful. I say a waltz. For coming. Thank you so much. You're so good.
Such a simple thing to make these silly folks so full of praise. He did what? Spend a few pounds of your mortal money? 3 or 4, perhaps? Is it so much that he deserves all this gratitude?
It isn't that, Spirit. It isn't that. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Say that his power lies in words, in looks, in things so slight and insignificant, it's impossible to count him up. What then? The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
What is the matter?
Nothing.
Something, I think.
No. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all.
My time grows short. Quick.
It matters little. To you, very little. Another idol has displaced me. And if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one.
This is the even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. All your other hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond its sordid reproach. I've seen your noble aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion gain engrosses you. Have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you, am I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so, until, in good season, we could improve our worldly fortune by our patient industry. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells you not what you are. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is now fraught with misery now that we are two. How often and how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. Is it enough that I have thought of it and can release you?
Have I ever sought release?
In words? No, never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature, an altered spirit, another atmosphere of life, another hope as its great end. Of anything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? No.
You think not.
I would gladly think otherwise if I could. Heaven knows when I've learned a truth like this. I know how strong and irresistible it must be. But tell me, if you're free today, tomorrow, yesterday, can even I believe you would choose a dowerless girl? You, who in your very confidence with her weigh everything by gain. Or for a moment you are false enough to your one guiding principle to do so? Do I not know your regret and repentance would surely follow? I do, and I release you. With a full heart, the love of the man you once were. You made the memory of which is past, half makes me hope you have pain in this. A very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the recollection of it gladly, as an unprofitable dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more.
No more. No more. I do not wish to see it. Show me no more.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Guess.
How can I? Don't I know? Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I was passing by his office, and as his windows wouldn't shut up and he had a candle inside, I could scarcely help seeing him. His partner lies on the verge of death, I hear, and there he sat alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I've told you, these are shadows of things that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me. I cannot bear it. Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Christmas present. You have never seen the like of me before.
Never.
Have never walked forth with the younger members of my family, meaning, for I am very young, my elder brothers in these later years?
I'm afraid I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800.
A tremendous family to provide for. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night and learnt a lesson which is working now. If you would ought to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe.
Oh, this looks wonderful,
Oh,
Mother.
these look done, Mother.
Me too, me too.
Now, children, be careful. You'll all get your chance to help. Yes, you will.
Oh, it smells so lovely.
I can't wait.
Oh, let me
What's
taste.
ever gotten your precious father then, and your brother, Tiny Tim? And weren't Martha as late last Christmas Day by half an hour?
Here's Martha, Mother.
Oh, Martha. Oh, what a goose, Martha. What a wonderful goose.
Why, bless your heart alive, my dear, how late you are.
We had a deal of work to finish up, and I had to clear away in the morning, Mother.
Never mind so long as you come. Sit you down by the fire and get warm.
No, it's Mother.
Hi, Martha. Hi.
Why, where's our Martha?
Not coming.
Not coming. Not coming upon Christmas Day.
Here she is, Father.
And how did little Tim behave?
Oh, as good as gold. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much and thinks the strangest things you have heard. For example, as we were walking home today and we passed the church, he said he hoped the people inside, saw him because he was a cripple. It might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas Day who made lame men walk and blind men see.
Father, Father, oh Father, just smell our feast.
Such a goose, Father. Such a wonderful goose.
The best goose ever. Oh, Father, it's so wonderful.
Just smell the potatoes I made.
Let's
made the
get the gravy
applesauce.
on the table.
Now, just look at this table, made by and made for us. Merry Christmas, and God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh no, say he'll be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here then. What then? If he be like to die, he better do it, and decrease the surplus population. Man, if man you be in heart, forbear that wicked, can't until you've discovered what the surplus is, and where it is. What then? Will you decide what men shall live, what men shall die? It might be in the sight of heaven you are more worthless and less fit than millions like this poor man's child.
Mr. Scrooge, I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he had an appetite for it.
My dear, think of the children, and on Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day that one drinks to the health of such an unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows better than you, poor fellow.
My dear, on Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake in the days, not for his. A long life to him, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be a very merry and a very happy, I have no doubt.
To Mr. Scrooge.
To Mr. Scrooge.
How about we sing a song? God rest ye merry gentlemen.
God
rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day. To save us all from Satan's power, we had gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Come, on this day, people everywhere, poor or wealthy, have reason to be thankful. Let me show you another place.
Why, what place is this? It's my nephew's home.
He said Christmas was a humbug, as I live, and he believed it too.
More shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, that's the truth, and as unpleasant as he might be. However, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he's very rich. At least you always tell me so.
What of that, my dear? He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't benefit himself with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he'd benefit us with it.
I have no patience for him.
Oh, I have. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself, always. Here, he takes it into his heart to dislike us and not make merry with us. What's the consequence? You don't lose much of a dinner.
I think he loses a very good dinner, dear.
I'm very glad you think so, because I haven't much faith in these new young housekeepers. What do you say, Topper?
Fatua's a wretched outcast, and therefore I have no right to express an opinion on the subject.
Anyhow, as you're saying, he's such a ridiculous man. Never remembers what he's saying.
I was only going to say that the consequence of him not making merry with us is that he loses some pleasanter moments, which could do him no harm, and pleasanter companions than he can find in his own thoughts, either in his moldy old office or his dusty chambers. I mean, to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I defy him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I pity him. I mean, if he finds me going there year after year, saying, "Uncle Scrooge, how are you?" If it only puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk 50 pounds, now that's something, and I think I shook him yesterday.
Oh, Fred, enough of this talking. I do remember you promising us a dance.
Indeed I did. May I have the honor?
Topper.
I suggest we play a different game.
Make it yes and no.
My thoughts exactly. Now, can you think of someone who wishes to be kissed?
That's too easy. Topper.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, let's make it harder. Guess.
City?
No.
Place?
No.
Animal?
Yes.
Living?
Yes.
Walks on all fours?
No.
Runs fast?
Definitely not.
Disagreeable animal?
Yes.
Savage animal?
Yes.
Grunts and growls?
Yes.
Talks sometimes?
Yes.
Lives in London?
Yes.
I know.
Uncle Scrooge! He has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. So here I say with a glass of wine in my hand, Uncle Scrooge!
Uncle Scrooge!
He wouldn't... Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever he is. He wouldn't take it from me, but may he have it nonetheless. Uncle Scrooge!
Spirit, must we leave?
My time on this earth grows very short. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark! The time is drawing near.
Spirit, forgive me, but I see something strange and not belonging to yourself protruding from your skirts. Is it a foot or a claw?
It might be a claw, for the flesh there is upon it. Look here!
Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's, and they cling to me, appealing from their father. The first is want, the second is ignorance. Beware them both in all their degree, but most of all beware this child, for on her brow I see written which is doom, unless the writing be erased. Deny it, slander those who tell it ye, admit it for your fractious purposes and make it worse, and bide the end.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come? You are about to show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the days before us. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I've seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be a better man, I'm prepared to bear you company. Do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on, Spirit. Lead on. The night is waning fast. It is precious time to me, I know. Lead on, Spirit.
No, I don't know much about it. All I know is that he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God, no.
What has he done with his money?
Not sure. Left it to his company, perhaps. Hasn't left it to me, that's for sure.
Well, it is likely to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life, I don't know of anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I'll go if a lunch is provided, but I must be fed if I'm to attend.
Oh, well, I am the most disinterested among all, after all, for I never wear black gloves and I never eat lunch. But I'll offer to go if anybody else will. Come to think of it, I'm not all sure that I was not his most particular friend. We used to stop and speak whenever we met.
How are you?
How are you?
Well, old Scratch got his own. Alas, hey.
So I've been told. Cold, isn't it?
Seasonable for Christmas time. You're not a skater, I suppose.
No. Something else to think of. Good morning. Let the charwoman alone be the first. Let the launderer alone be the second. And let the undertaker's man alone be the third. Look here, old Joe. If we three haven't all met here without meeting it, what odds then? What odds, eh?
You couldn't have met me in a better place. You were made free of it long ago, you know, and the other two ain't strangers. We're all suitable to our calling. We're well matched. Come in.
Why then? Why do we stand as though we're afraid? Who's the wiser? We're not about to pick holes in each other's pockets, I suppose.
No, indeed. We should hope not.
Well then, that's enough. Who's the worse off for things such as these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
It's the truest word. No man more so.
He'd wanted to keep him after he was dead. Oh, wicked old screw. And why wasn't he natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of lying there, gasping out his last alone by himself.
It's the truest word. It's a judgment unto him.
Should have been a little harsher judgment, if I dare say. Believe me, if I could have gotten my hands on anything else. Open the bundle, Joe. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. Open the bundle, Joe. We've all known we were helping each other out before we came here. It's no sin. Open the bundle.
Sheets, towels, 2 old-fashioned silver teaspoon, a pair of sugar tongs, and a pair of boots. That's your account. And if you asked me for another penny and made it an open question, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off half a crown. Who's next?
That would be me.
A pencil case, a pair of sleeve buttons, and a brooch. I always give too much. It's a weakness of mine. That's the way I ruin myself. I'll knock off half a crown. Who's last?
That would be me.
What do you call this? Bed curtains.
Ah! Bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took him down, rings and all, with him lying there?
Why not?
You were born to make a fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
Oh, I ain't about to hold my hand for the sake of a man he was. Don't drop oil on those blankets now.
His blankets?
Whose else's? He ain't likely to take cold without 'em.
I hope you didn't die of anything catching, eh?
Ah, don't worry about that. I ain't so fond of him that I'd loiter about if such was the case. Now, you may look through this shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole nor a threadbare. It's the best he had, and a fine one, too. They'd have wasted it if it wasn't for me.
What do you call wasting of it?
Putting him in to be buried, for sure. Someone was fool enough to do it, but I took it right off again. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it ain't good enough for anything. It's quite as becoming to the body. He couldn't have looked uglier than he did in that one, that's for sure. Don't you see? This is the end of it. He frightened everyone away when he was alive to profit us when he was dead.
Spirit, the case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends this way now. Merciful heaven, what is this? Spirit, this is a fearful place. In leaving it, I shall not leave its lessons. Let us go, trust me. I understand you, and I would if I could, but I have not the power, Spirit. I have not the power. If there is any person in this town who feels emotion caused by this man's death, show that person to me now, I beseech you.
Is it good or bad? Bad. We are quite ruined.
No, there's hope yet, Caroline.
If he relents, there is. Nothing is past hope if such a miracle has happened.
He's past relenting. He's dead. One of the half-drunken women who I've told of you last night said to me, when I tried to see him and obtain a week's delay, what I thought was a mere excuse to avoid me turns out to have been quite true. He's not only very ill, but he's dying.
To whom will our debt be transferred?
I don't know, but we will be ready with the money. And even though we're not, it'd be a bad fortune indeed to find so merciless a creditor in his success. Tonight, you may sleep with thy hearts, Caroline.
Let me see some tenderness connected with a death, or that dark chamber we left just now will be forever present to me.
And he took a child and set him in the midst of them.
The color hurts my eyes. It makes them weak by candlelight. But I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father when he comes home. Not for the world. It must be near his time.
Past it, rather. He's been walking around a lot slower these last few evenings.
I've known him to walk with him upon his shoulder, very fast indeed.
And so have I, often.
But he was very light to carry, and his father loved him so. So it was no trouble. And there's your father at the door.
Oh, Father, don't be grieved.
Be happy, dear father.
I shall. What fine work you've done, kids, and mother, you too. Our house looks tidy, wonderful.
You went today then, Robert?
I did. It would have done you well to see how green a place it is, but we'll go often. I promised him I would walk there Sunday. My little child. My little child. I saw Mr. Scrooge's nephew today. He said, "Why, Bob, you look just a little down, you know?" I'm heartily sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit, and heartily sorry for your good wife. By the by, how he ever knew that, I'm not quite sure.
Knew what, my dear?
That you were a good wife.
Everybody knows that.
Oh, well observed children, indeed they should. Heartily sorry for your good wife, he said. And if there's any way I can be of service to you, he said, giving me his card, "This is where I live. Pray, come to me." Now, it wasn't for as much as what he might be able to do for us, as much as his kind way that brought me such delight. It really seemed as though he knew our poor Tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he's a good soul.
You would be sure of, my dear, if you met and spoke with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he got Peter a better situation.
Only hear that, Peter? And then Peter will be keeping company with someone and sticking up for himself.
Get along with you.
Now, it's more than likely these days. But however and whenever we each do part from one another, I'm sure that we will not forget our poor Tiny Tim, or that which was the first parting among us.
No, never, Father.
And I'm sure that when we recollect how patient and mild he was, we'll not quarrel amongst ourselves, and in doing so, forget our poor Tiny Tim.
No, never.
And I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Spectre, something informs me that our parting moment is at hand. I know it, but I know not how. Tell me, what man was that whom we saw lying dead? Let me behold what I shall be in days to come. Before I draw nearer to the stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will happen, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Men's courses foreshadow certain ends, which, if preserved, and they must lead. But if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me. Am I the man to lay upon the bed? Oh no, spirit, hear me. I am not the man I must have been but for this intercourse. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Good spirit, assure me I may change these shadows by an altered life. I will keep Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Good spirit, assure me I may sponge away the writing on this stone. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, heaven and Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob, on my knees. They're not torn down. They're not torn down, rings and all. They're here. I'm here. The shadows of things that may have been will be dispelled. They will be. I know they will be. I don't know what to do. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to the world. A Happy New Year to everyone. It's all true. It all happened. I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. Hello? Hello there. What's today? What's today, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits did it all in one night. They can do anything they'd like. Of course they can. My fine fellow, do you know the poulterers at the next street at the corner?
I should hope I do.
A delightful boy, an intelligent boy. Do you know whether they sold the prize turkey? Not the little prize turkey, the big one.
What, the one as big as me?
A delightful boy, yes, my lad.
It's hanging there right now.
It is? Go and buy it.
What and how?
I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell him to bring it to this address. Come back with the man and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with the man in 5 minutes and I'll give you half a crown. I'll send it to Bob Cratchits. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Good morning. A Merry Christmas to you both. I hope you succeeded yesterday. A Merry Christmas to you.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. But allow me to ask your pardon, and will you do me the goodness?
Lord bless me. My dear Scrooge, are you serious?
If you please, and not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included, I assure you.
I don't know what to say to such.
Please, don't say anything. Come and see me. Will you come and see me?
We will.
Thank ye. I am much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Is your master home, my dear?
Yes, sir.
Where is he, my love?
He's in the dining room, sir, with mistress. I will show you upstairs.
Thank ye. He knows me. I'll just go in. Fred!
Let him in. It is a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. No one could be heartier. He was right at home in 5 minutes. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful happiness.
But he was early at the office the next morning. Oh, he was early there. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late, that was the thing he had set his heart upon.
He did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. Quarter past. Still no Bob. He was a full 18 minutes behind his time. Scrooge sat with his door open, hoping that he might catch him enter.
Hello there. What do you mean by coming at this time of day?
I'm sorry, sir. I am rather behind on my time.
You are? Yes, I think you are. Step this way, sir, if you please.
It was only once a year, sir. I was making rather merry last night. It shan't be repeated.
Now, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I am going to raise your salary. A Merry Christmas, Bob Cratchit. A merrier Christmas than I have given you. I'm going to raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family. We will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a bowl of smoking bishop. Start up the fires before you dot a single I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man the old city knew.
Some laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, for he was wise enough to know that nothing happened for good, at which some people didn't have their fill of laughter in the onset. Besides, his own heart was laughing, and that was quite enough for him.
Scrooge had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived on the total abstinence principle ever since. It was always said that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. And let that be said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.